Hello. Welcome, everybody. It is Monday. It is the Monday after Thanksgiving. It is the Monday after Thanksgiving with a repeat of Lego Masters. So we have nothing to talk about. So we brought in a special guest. Welcome, Steve. How are you, sir?
No pressure.
Okay.
No pressure.
It's all right.
Actually, there is no pressure. We have very low expectations. So that's where we're at.
Story of my life.
Although Steve, we were expecting to celebrate, mock, and encourage all at the same time, which is what we do on this show, mostly mocking. You had the amazing mustache, and you shaved it off right before the show. What did you know it was coming? Did you feel it?
Yeah, it was. It's time. It was time. Yeah. Got a little bit of phantom mustache going on, where I'm just like, it's not there. I want to like.
The funniest part is that in our internal text message, we joked that each one of us should get like a plastic fake mustache to when the show opened. We could also have the curly mustache, and then you logged on, and we were all like, "What?"
I was banking on it. I gotcha.
He's like, I got those guys. I know those guys. Well, Steve, we're glad that you're here. Excited to hang out with you and everything. So it is a messy Monday. For those of you who are looking for Lego Masters talk, come back next week because we will be back on that. What is there, 3 episodes left of Lego Masters or 2?
3, but one of them will be a recap episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
because they had to drop an episode because we lost Poppy and Ben.
Well, is it recap or is it outtakes? I thought it was an outtake.
It might be a little bit of both. That's what either Sam, Emily, or George, Luis mentioned.
I just want like a 5-minute montage of them bleeping out Emily. That would be the funniest.
or you could hear the producer's like voice in the microphone, like could you stop? We're kept to keep this PG-13, or actually probably PG.
Yes. All right. Grumpy J is in the chats. Moto, hello Moto. How are you? Brick City Planner is in the chats as well. So so we're doing Messy Monday. I am sorting out
Brick City Planner. I believe that's John from our lug.
That is John Kanoy, which it took me forever to realize that his last name was pronounced Kanoy because it's K-N-O-Y, and you would think of all the people I would have pronounced the K, and I kept calling him John Noy. And
I thought his last name was Planner.
Well, your mom's a planner.
It was Peanut. It would be Peanut Planner.
So John had so here in Atlanta we did a little bit of a Lego show. So this week, the week leading up to Thanksgiving, there's a local thing called Festival Trees where they auction off Christmas trees and Christmas wreaths. And last year they invited our lug to participate, and so we took some of the Winter Village stuff, and then we had some original stuff. So John was one of the people who made an original build for our festival trees. So he was part of our Peach Lug display, and we had play break for kids, and kids could build a Lego set for a contest. And I will tell you that the winning build was aimed right at Chris Giddens because it was the Calvin and Hobbes strip where they're on a sled and they're coming down the slope, and the kid built the white for the slope and then used the tiger from the Winnie the Pooh for Hobbs. It was great. It was really good. and he was there. I was one of the judges for the contest, and on Monday we had the judging, and so he won the overall award. We had 3 age categories, and I was talking to this kid. I don't know, he's probably like, I don't know, 13. I'm not always so good at picking the ages, but that's what I guess. And he was like, well, what did you like best about it? And I said, well, you did something that one of my friends does very well, which is you gave the impression of movement with static Lego. And this is a Giddens specialty. Giddens has done this a couple times where he built a kid on a bike about to ride off the roof of the house, and the parents are like, no, don't do it. And it's like this moment, instant snapshot. And he also did one where the space people are running away, and there are these tentacles reaching out about ready to grab them, and you feel like it's just like a snapshot. And I said, you did it where what? And did you also do the Roadrunner one where the Roadrunner is about to run off? Yeah, Giddens, this is your thing. Like, you're very good.
I don't feel like I do that very well, so I really appreciate that. But I don't. That is not something I do.
Well, you don't do it
but
consciously.
You do it every freaking time.
You do it subconsciously, but you're quite good at it. So I don't know if it's the cartoon aspect of drawing a cartoon strip or a moment in time where something is supposed to be moving in your brain, but you have to draw like a single frame. You're very good at doing these like single frame things that give the impression of movement. So I told the kid, I said, you actually did this, and it's actually hard to do with Lego because Lego is static and it sits, and to imply movement without using some kind of, engine or something that actually does move it. I say that's actually an advanced skill for Lego. It's tricky to do, and not everyone could pull it off. And the kid was like, I never thought about that. So it was fun. It's always fun to see, kids get excited about Lego, and so that was one of the things we had here in Atlanta. And so Brick City Planner was one of our LUG members who participated and built some stuff for that display. So tip of the hat to John. And if you haven't checked him out, check out his Instagram. He has video and still pictures of his city, and it's pretty cool. He's got like a modern art sculpture, and he's got a park like with gardens in between the buildings, and so it's really nice. And one of the platforms recently, I can't remember which one, did a
Brick Journal.
Yeah.
Not the current issue, which is the Disney issue, but the issue prior to that, which has some new Hashima stuff in it, also has John's apartment building, which is interiored every floor, and every apartment has a theme. It is fantastic. I definitely recommend picking up that issue of Brick Journal to take a look at.
Yeah, I'm about to drop in all the chats there John's Insta if you haven't joined in. So there it is right there. All right, good deal. So I'm glad Festival Tree, that was a local LUG thing that we did, that John was at and everything. I'm glad that went well. So awesome. All right, let's do some Messy Monday. Let's do a quick spin around the room. We'll start with Captain Xavier. How are you, sir? What is going on in your world, Lego world?
I'm good. I got some good Black Friday and over the weekend stuff. I went to Bricks and Wheels and Lego Store and a couple of other places, picked up mini figs. I'm still doing army building. I then found a fantastic deal. It was absolutely highway robbery on Facebook Marketplace yesterday. I got the hull and most of the important parts from a Black Seas Barracuda, including the sails and the rigging. Parts from, I think, a Forbidden Island and probably the Forestman Tree Crossing.
Dang.
All the cannons. I got, I think, 26 horses and 50 Classic Castle figs with gear and helmets and stuff. So it was an excellent acquisition. I was very pleased with that. My Lego order came in. I did get the gift with purchase for that one. I remember getting that one when I was young and loving it. I also got that one. I had wanted to get the Ornithopter as the purchase in order to acquire it, and it was available for pre-order 2 days before this became the gift with purchase, and then they took it down from you couldn't pre-order it anymore when I went to actually acquire it. So I filled it all in with Pab instead. And the bestseller stuff arrived. Obviously, the non-bestseller stuff will get here sometime next summer. Other than that, like I said, army building, endless army building. I'm finally making progress. There's my Black Falcon.
Jesus.
Regular infantry and archers. I then have medium infantry. Oh no, I've lost a pikeman.
Oh, you don't want to do that. I did that once.
Yeah. More variety here. I've got a unit that's made using the goalie torso. The blue one. So it's a Fright Night pattern, but they put it on a blue torso and it made it a goalie. So I had to give him a cloak to cover up the one. And then
Is
they
that
have
from
my favorite.
Is that from
What?
the hockey? Is that from a hockey set?
No, it's from soccer.
Soccer goalie. Got it.
Yeah, soccer goalies. I've got a bunch of stuff there, and then I've got more plates. I have a lot of Black Falcons. More infantry. The falconers there. I found a source for a black Robin Hood hat.
Ooh.
So I gave some of them falconers. Gave some of the, since they're a form of archer. I was also then able to make an all black peasant with a Robin Hood torso, but with a black Robin Hood hat.
Getting princess vibes off of that one.
Yes, very true. I actually have a head with a mask over here. I could do that.
Wait. Can you put that black peasant back up? Can you put him back up?
Peasant.
He looks like General Zod from Superman 2. I don't know why
there you go.
I'm seeing that. Kneel before Zod.
I've got these guys as medium infantry. They have an SLA printed original castle tabard, and then there's somebody who makes a sticker for Black Falcons that fits on those tabards. Got those. And finally, I've got this one's still waiting on parts. I'm waiting on breastplates to be able to finish some heavy infantry. But here's the cavalry that aren't on their horses mostly. I've got guys on griffins because I felt that would work. I've got their king there with an exonite crown because he had a blue crown. Gonna have some heavy infantry, light cavalry, heavy cavalry, all sorts of fun stuff. Heavy infantry.
That's awesome.
And I have an army not quite that big for every faction. The Black Falcons are my biggest faction. But I have 24 different armies that I've been building, and they're all at least above 100 figs now. Altogether, I have 3,500, more than 3,500 figs in the army now. And eventually, we're going to do brick wars with them hopefully at Brick Cascade. I'm hoping to do brick wars where I bring the armies and people can play simple brick war battles using minifigs and kind of a Warhammer style tabletop wargaming with figs.
You totally need to bring that to Atlanta. So in February. I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't want to know what it would take to move that many figs that far. My final gift to all of you, I discovered that you can, in fact, put a flame up the bottom of a frog and make it look like they're rocketing out of someone's hand. I encourage you to use this information for good and not evil.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That has already gone into the evil side. That's already locked in.
I figured.
That's going to be something for Simon. I'm just saying.
You're welcome, and I have no regrets.
I just need you to smile for the camera, please, sir, because you win. Thank you very much.
You win.
You win Lego this week, sir.
Hooray!
You and your flaming frogs. Anyway, that's pretty awesome. Dude, that's awesome. Great. Do you have the Magistos, the gift with purchase Magisto thing? Do you have it? Do you have it built?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I showed on camera a minute ago?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
No,
it's
still in the box.
So we don't know if that's a stickered torso or on the dragon guy, or is it a printed torso? Do we know?
It's printed.
I can open it up and find out.
It's printed.
It's printed.
Yeah.
Is it front and back printed or just front?
I do have the original here as well.
Yeah.
No surprise there. No surprise.
But the Magisto itself is plain and it's stupid and everybody's mad about that. So I understand it.
The amount of
Murloc
of just straight up whining and complaining that I have seen about that on the internet absolutely baffles me.
But yet
there are
Murloc,
things that I think they could have done better, but I don't feel the urge to go on Facebook and whine about it like a toddler. I don't get it.
Yeah. But yet Murloc from Next Nights did have printing. Just FYI.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And the original Magisto at least had torso printing, so I don't. Yeah.
But they just had a wizard in the bricks, the fig bricks at the stores, and it was printed, right?
Yep.
And it came, and it had printing on the lower as well. I got a whole bunch of those.
And even the wizard,
and then the 90th anniversary castle, no printing on them, and beautiful printing on everybody else.
Yep.
But not the wizard. I don't get it, but apparently it was a choice.
Wizard hatred, terrible.
Yep. What are you gonna do?
He got really boring in his robe options. I don't know. Yeah.
That happens if you get older.
So I will be building that. I'll probably build the old one as well for my channel for a buy the book.
Cool. Ben Winden, what's up in your Lego world, dude?
You got hair.
All right. What? Yeah, I need to get a cut.
Did you have dad nap today?
No, I haven't had proper sleep for the past like 4 or 5 days because of work issues. So this is my first.
My grandpappy would say, "Boy, a rat done nested in your head, boy."
Yeah,
so
my apologies. And not having it short means that if I don't if I don't have a shower in the morning, then this is the after effects for all day long. But anyway, lots of work type stuff taking away a lot of my time. You'll see bunch of bins here on the side. I've basically reorganized all my bins. That's why there's gaps on the wall everywhere. Resorted, expanded a bunch of bins. Like who would have thought I actually needed 2 bins for yellowish green? Right? Like
me.
I would have thought so. Anyway, I didn't think I'd ever need that. But I've been busy expanding that this week. Now I'm just trying to figure out where it's all going to get reorganized into. Like how to make everything fit on the walls, because literally this table is full of bins, plus a little bit here. So that's pretty much my week, I guess. Bought a few things over the Black Friday deal stuff. I ended up placing an order today, even though I didn't really care for the gift of purchases, but it was one of those. It's still on sale, so I better get it now type sets, right? So, and it's a present, so I can't say what it was. And
do it.
No, I'm not gullible.
Oh, it must be for Janie, because who else would be watching this show?
His kids.
Janie doesn't watch the show.
What?
Janie doesn't watch my show, so she doesn't watch.
Wow.
She's got too much other stuff to watch.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, Matt. Your one fan is not watching your show.
My very, very distant relative doesn't watch my show.
Are you really distantly relative? Are you all akin to each other?
We have the same last name, so I assume that we're related somewhere.
And it's a rarer name as well. So
yeah, it's not common.
Yeah, my last name. There's people in the southern part of Ontario with my last name. There's people in Quebec with my last name, but we're not related as far as we know. We are obviously at some point, but Van Winden is only from one area of Holland, so we're just not sure how many generations back it is. So, but
I will say I have felt closer to Jeff this last week and a half than I have been, because I have been listening the audiobook version of my Effin' Life by Geddy Lee. I've been listening to the audiobook. It's his autobiography, and it's fantastic. but it's read by him, so he does all the voices. So when he needs to get a little extra Canadian, he will read it. He'll go into Bob and Doug kind of has it going. He'll put that on there. I don't know if it's in the written page or not, but it's amazing. So he kind of does the self-effacing Canadian stuff. But then also his mother is a Holocaust survivor and does an amazing chapter. I mean, amazing in the fact that he gets very in depth at the story she told about being in Auschwitz and stuff like that and how they got out. Great stories and great for historical. But then when he quotes her a lot of times, he does the voice of her in a very, with the Yiddish and all the thing. And it's great. But all the Canadianisms comes through. He'll kind of end a paragraph and go, it's kind of Canadian, eh? And he'll do the whole thing. So I have felt closer to Jeff this week. I think about Jeff on occasion. So
for the Canadian part, I'm guessing, not the
yeah.
Okay. I did grab some. I did get some orders from Bricks and Pieces this week that I will quickly show. One of them is Sea Life, the killer whale.
Woohoo!
The shark, which
Dun,
is almost the same mold, but I think they reprinted the underside. Sea turtles. Sorry, sea turtles, the adult ones. Polar bears. And then like the baby bears and baby seals. Those ones are adorable. Those were last week. Also the blue hat pieces, and the piece Chris was showing off. I'm stealing his thunder. This little weird handlebar thingy in black and gray. And last but not least, sorry.
The not phallic looking piece at all?
The not phallic looking piece. And last but not least, and Captain Xavier might want to look up for this because I don't know if he knew that these were actually on Bricks and Pieces. These shields are they're listed, but they don't have a picture attached to them. So if you don't know what shield you're looking for, they put them on. I'm not sure if they're still there. What was that?
Which one? Put it back up. I missed it. I was looking away.
I told him to look. Jeez. The shield?
I know.
Those
ones. Okay.
Yeah, they're actually on Bricks and Pieces. They don't have an image though.
Do they have other shields, or is it just that one?
That was the only one I could track down. And like that shield was only in the collectible minifig, so it technically shouldn't be on there, but
yeah,
it's there. So I don't know if it's still available. I'll pop the number into chat for the part number for it, in case anybody wants to look for it.
So I've noticed that Bricks and Pieces has gotten really bad about not having the pictures with stuff. I mean,
what's with that?
I don't know. It's like, why are you in a hurry to get rid of parts and then you won't put the pictures of the new parts up? So
I wonder if it's just they don't want to advertise that they have that maybe some of those parts they never had, like some of the parts were unprinted pieces that don't have pictures, right? So they've never sold them regularly, so they might not either have a picture for it or they just don't want to list that, hey, we've got parts that are never available anywhere.
So they want a bin to sit there. Here, we don't want to sell these, so don't put a picture up.
Well, they want to get rid of their crap. They want to get rid of the stuff that they're not going to use.
There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rhyme.
Yeah, fine.
It's a Lego speakeasy.
Makes no sense. No sense.
Oh, me. Yeah, I got a few new parts in myself. But anyway, all right. Let's see what is going on with Mr. Matthew. How are you, sir?
Whoa. So I'm down in my living room because behind me sits my project, which was I bought the Titanic. They marked it down, I don't know, about a month ago, maybe a little longer. And it was during double points. And in my marriage, my husband has only ever requested that I buy 3 things. And one of them was, you're going to get that Titanic, aren't you? And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but if you're willing to display it in the house, then sure, why not? The other one was the typewriter, and then the Stranger Things. He's a huge fan of Stranger Things. So I built the typewriter for his office and Stranger Things. So I cracked it open. As we came into Thanksgiving week, it's been a very busy semester, and I haven't really had the energy, frankly, to do a lot of building. And so I started working on it, and there is a fair amount of repetition, but it was not as tedious as I thought it might be. And so I kept working on it each day of Thanksgiving week and wrapped up last night. Sunday, I put the last section together and then, popped it all together. It's remarkably sturdy. For the most part, I mean the
compared to the original.
Yeah, better than the original, and hence my Steve is not a regular. So Steve, I have a different screen name every single show. So screen name for today's show is there's room on that raft. I've seen the movie Titanic. You know what we're talking about. But I'm going to get up here for a second. I know it's called the Titanic, but I was not prepared for just how big this thing is. It really is enormous. So I'm gonna come around the back side of the couch. So this is my arm. So if I touch the end point of it, my shoulder is only about the middle of it. So, it's almost, I'm 5'10", so your wingspan is about the same size. It's almost from one fingertip to the other fingertip. It's not quite that long, but it's really big. So if you buy it, you do have to think about where it's going to go in the house. And I'm wrapping it up, and I got the last third. You kind of work on it in like the front third, the middle third, and the back third. And I'm working on the back third, and I'm like, there's only like 2 places in the house where this could actually go. I said one of them's on the mantle, and the other one's this bookcase that we have upstairs. And I'm like, it's much bigger than I expected. So we went with the mantle. So until the cats figure out how to get up there. So.
The thing that I enjoyed learning is that was your arm. I'm glad you explained that to us, and I wasn't sure what you were putting up there, so I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, it's hard to communicate just how big the thing is unless you literally see it or get human for scale. It's just kind of like, well, there it is. It's in the background. It's sitting up there. But no, it's like when I went to lift it up, it's heavy. I mean, it's got some heft to it. It's not a light Lego build. Like you really have to sort of make sure you get the weight balance in your hand and lift it up there. So probably is the heaviest complete built Lego set I've ever lifted up.
Yeah, it's part dense, right? I mean, it's very bricky up through there and everything. Yeah. That's awesome. The one that surprised me is seeing in person in the Lego store is the Concorde. The fact that Joker is like 8 feet long. I don't know. It's like, it's 4.5, 5 feet long. It's really, 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 I have no idea where anybody would store that in their house except in like a garage or in the back of a car or something. It's really, really huge because the back end of it is so wide and you have to kind of sit it at an angle and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where you put it. So,
well, hopefully the next time we go to Intense's place, he'll have one built since he works for the airlines. I'm pretty sure he's going to buy that set too.
Yeah. Does he have a Dreamliner? I didn't remember to look.
He's got the plastic models of various airplanes because he works for Delta. But I don't know if he has the old Dreamliner set or not.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Anyway, all right, cool deal. Is that where it's going to stay, or is it going to? I mean, that's where it's going to stay on your mantle for
That's its home. Yeah, it's done.
You going to decorate it for Christmas? Put some little, or some.
Yeah, we might we'll put some. I always put a couple Christmas lights, so there'll be some lights at either end, and maybe we'll string a little thing along the top. So, Citizen Brick sells the Jack, and I forget what her character's name is, with like a door. I've thought about buying their specially custom printed figures for the characters from Titanic and just setting it on the mantle next to it.
Have you told Tom that he's allowed to take it apart and put them on different angles so it looks like it's sinking with some parts spread around it?
Yeah.
Because needs to be done.
Next up is building the iceberg. We got to work on that. So.
There you go.
Got to get those trans clear parts with some white and then some light aqua. We'll get the whole light iceberg.
All right. We can tell that Mr. Sandlin is building because he is extra quiet. So what are you building, sir?
I don't know how you tell the difference.
I know.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise with Dana.
Touche, mon frere. Touche.
I recently bought the Ninjago City Gardens, and I decided that since it looks really nice and kind of similar-ish vibe to my Monkey Tropolis over there, I thought I'd put it next to it, and then I started thinking, well, if I'm going to put it next to it, then I need to make like some base plates that match, because the Ninjago City Gardens has like some nice little water kind of stuff and a bunch of tiles around the bottom. So I decided that if I'm going to do all that, then I have to extend the monorail thing that goes around the Monkey City. So I have taken the shrine that comes with the Ninjago City Gardens and elevated it to make a little monorail station.
Monorail.
That looks awesome.
And so this fits in between the Monkey City and the Ninjago Gardens, but this makes a nice little monorail that I built some to walk down the side, and they can get over to the city. And I'm currently working on the water effects to go in front of the Monkey City like that. So yeah, it's keeping me busy right now.
That's awesome.
It is very good.
So yeah, I've been doing all that. I bought 2 bags of 500 of these tiles.
It's not enough.
Seriously.
It's not enough.
I'm probably gonna have to get more before I'm done.
Yep.
Also,
make sure you get the light blue.
So this weekend I drove over to Birmingham and visited our friend of the show, Stever. He has a new sort of side hobby that he's been working on some hats. And he makes his own little custom patches that he sews onto the hats. So I have an official Fleebnork hat.
Awesome.
Made by Stever.
That's amazing.
So yes, it's really cool. He also made one for Small Paul, and as many people know who've been around, Small Paul's a fan of Godzilla.
Nice.
So that's the collectible CMF Godzilla-esque, dinosaur-esque, whatever, but he made that for Small Paul. And then I also have a selection of Old Gray Bricks hats.
Awesome!
In various lovely shades. So Dana already Dana called dibs on this sort of orangey salmony color. It's more orange in person than it looks on screen, but and then we can give this one to Mare.
Yay!
Pink hats.
The other two are just sort of a grayish bluish shade. So yeah, excellent work by Stever, and many thanks for the handiwork. Looks great.
Is this something that other people can order from Stever? Does he have an address or a place?
I don't believe that he has gotten to the point where he's going to sell them yet, but he did tell me that he has future plans. Like he's got, I think he said he got some figured out where to get hats in bulk to be able to do stuff like that. So I don't know that he's going to be doing a lot of Lego things because of he doesn't want to run afoul of the Lego lawyers. So we'll see. But he might soon try to make custom hats and stuff. So when he does, we can certainly share that on the show.
Yeah, that would be great. We would love to have that. I'm looking forward to that. So if there is not enough hats for us Old Gray Bricks, are we just going to go to a room, throw the down, break a pool stick in half, throw it in the middle of the room, and whoever comes out with the hat and alive wins the hat? Is that how it's going to work?
Well, I figured I would distribute these amongst the rest of you, since I have my own Fleebnork hat. So
there's a problem with Chris's plan. We'd have to break the pool stick. Most of us would either try to unscrew the one or.
I'm just going to point out that one of us here plays hockey and knows how to use a stick.
Way too easy. I'm not doing that. That was way too easy.
He's all
yeah. Which is a great segue because over the weekend, at some point in time, on the Discord for Bricks and Beer, Happy Weasel was talking about the Pooh Tree House and mentioned that I know for whatever the price, he goes, I know, but half price is solid. The tree is a bunch of interesting parts and colors. I'm sure the figs can turn over for a solid chunk too. Fleet Mark responds, your mom turns over for a solid chunk. That, my friends, was my Thanksgiving Day treat. I was very excited by that. And Chris, you did say that my mom, or I said something about industrialized, and you said my mom was an industrialized hazard or something like that, and that was close, but your mom turning over for a chunk, that was solid.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, so what have I got going on? So I finished. You can see them up there. I'm not going to bring them down, but I have all my little land mats that I'm doing for my new Shiro Motors dealership, which I'll be working on the display probably here next week, since I'm hoping, along with everybody else getting Pick-a-Brick in, I got a large chunk of white Pick-a-Brick between Bricklink orders and some steel. This is what the last probably 2 weeks of deliveries from both Pick-a-Brick and Bricklink to get ready for my new Hashima build that I'm working on. And I started on the lobby last night, which I will share here. So this is going to be the first. This will be the first floor. And I have decided to do the sides in a textured mosaic. It's just
more teal.
What does the front say? And unfortunately, I didn't realize this was going to happen, but I never thought out of the entire time I've been picking up parts that I would actually run out of teal quarter rounds. I never thought that day would ever come. And yet, and here we are. So Matthew says he's got plenty, so I will probably spring by his house sometime in the next week or so to pick those up, add that to that. And of all those pieces that I ordered, for some reason, however, along the way, I forgot to order 150 1x10 white plates. I don't even know how that was possible. I mean, I ordered so much freaking Pick-a-Brick and then didn't order the one piece that I needed to make each floor work. So I don't know. It's a sad reality. But speaking of Ninjago City Gardens, I had a friend of mine gift me 4 medium-sized tubs of bricks, a Ninjago City Gardens with no figures, and a Daily Bugle with 80% of its figures, which was covered in cat hair and dust and had to be completely disassembled and disinfected. There was also a Milano, or was it a Benatar? No, it was a Benatar. There was a Benatar in there that was also had no figures, and also Metalbeard's motorcycle bike, again, sans figures. But it wound up being 38 pounds.
Oh, that's crazy.
For free that I wound up sorting. And this is just the light bluish gray. This was the most of any color that I had pulled and sorted, but there was a full medium-sized tub by the time I was done of just medium stone gray. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I had a screaming deal. I went to Walmart because everybody was posting that they had. Yes, it was gifted. He was moving. He said, "Here, come and take this. It's free." He said he gave 3 medium-sized tubs to some of the neighbor kids. He's like, "You can have the rest of it." I'm like, "I'm on my way."
Did you knock a kid down to get it?
If I had seen them, it might have crossed my mind. It might. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. It would have crossed my mind. But so there was reports that the advent calendars were on 20 down to $20 on Walmart. And I was like, well, all right, I'm going to pop into my Walmart and see if they've got any physical ones. I can just pick them up, not have to worry about getting them shipped and not worry about that. Didn't see them. They weren't in the regular Lego aisle. And I'm like, let me just meander down to the clearance aisle because usually the guy comes through and clears out all the clearance stuff before I even get there. And there was this huge stack of the advent calendars. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, I'm just going to grab one of each. You know, a Harry Potter, a Friends, a Marvel, and a Star Wars. That'd be a good thing, right? Yeah, that's preempting. That's foreshadowing. That's foreshadowing. Some of the stickers, however, said not $20, but $9. So I took them up to the register thinking, all right, this is either going to turn out to be a really great deal or I'm just going to walk out with 4. Well, they came up at $9 a piece. I went back in and walked out with a total of 16 copies of an advent calendar. And so just to prove a point from the process, and I wanted to kind of do this for myself, I took and I opened up 2 Star Wars, a Harry Potter, and a Marvel, took the minifigures to Bricks and Minifigures, got $50 in credit, and so which basically means that I'm up $10, and I get this entire tub of Cool Whip of parts that are for free, which is basically all greebly and small pieces. And oftentimes in the advent calendars, there's rare and uncommon parts in different colors that you normally don't get. So score. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time.
So, very nice.
I'm having Cool Whip. Cool Whip. Yeah, I did even add a few more empty Cool Whip containers over the weekend because I did have 2 pumpkin pies that happened, and so thus I got 2 more Cool Whip containers to add to my sorting cups. I'm excited.
Sir, those are the good soup bowls where I grew up. So,
or the good leftover containers. They
Right.
work for both. They work for both. There was
That's right.
one other thing all right. So I didn't realize this, and it doesn't surprise me that Target decides that they're going to drop the hoopty, the Marvel hoopty, down to
your mom
50%.
That's the way to eat.
Your mom's a hoopty. There we go. They dropped this set down. So I actually took 2 other sets back to the Lego store yesterday and got this at 20% off. But now I went ahead and ordered it from Target, which I'll pick it up tomorrow, and I'll take this one back to Lego again to exchange it for something else. But while I was there, my Lego store once again hooked me up.
Oh God.
Oh, jeez.
They gave me a dream shirt. I'm excited. And at first I was a little concerned because it's an extra large and I normally wear a large. But then Emily the cat, she texted me and she said, don't wash it and dry it because it will shrink. I said, well, perfect. It will probably shrink down to the perfect size by washing and drying it. So I was very excited about that. Oh, and then I also forgot I picked these up.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. I did grab I did grab the lackluster pick-a-brick fees, but this dark red Santa Claus was a must-have because his hat and his torso are in dark red versus bright red, so had to get one of those. All right, now I'm done. Slap.
Dana Flex of the week. There it is. So,
Oh, you want to talk about flexing? Let's talk about this
no,
gal.
Yeah. So, by the way, yeah. So if you are, oh, hey, wait, we've got somebody.
That's what I just said. If we want to talk about flexing, let's bring in this gal.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, Gene. How are you?
Hi,
I'm sorry,
Dana,
I didn't see you down there.
Steve, Beth, Xavier, everyone. Oh shit! Wait,
Oh.
sorry. I was watching you guys while I was eating for like a little bit, and then I was like, I'll click and join in. So,
All right, wait a minute. I got to. There we go.
did I say something? Did I cuss already? Or
Yeah.
Said one of the 7 words that you're not supposed to say on TV, but I don't even know if those apply anymore.
I did. What did I say?
We can't repeat
Yeah,
it.
hotel, I think.
The S word.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's been a while since we've had someone drop an F-bomb on here, so I think we're good.
Cuss a lot. Sorry.
We're glad you're here. Let's go ahead. And reason we invited Gene is because if you have not followed our friend Steve, and we'll put his Instagram over in the chat. Steve does amazing Lego, really cool builder, really great collector, and all this kind of stuff. Is also doing some pretty hilarious reels, and actually did one with Gene and everything. So Steve, and it was hilarious. I remember seeing that one and like that's hilarious because I'm awkward. But anyway, and that's what it was all about, and that's the best part. So Steve, tell us your story, your Lego story. How you got here, which is just clicking a link. But anyway, tell us your Lego story, your all that kind of stuff.
So quickly to go back to that reel, it's kind of been phasing out, and this week it picked back up, which is kind of crazy. It's like it's back in the algorithm now.
It's been weird. Like
Yeah.
every few weeks, I feel like I'm like, Steve, they're leaving comments again. They think we're married or they think we're something.
It's not the point of the reel. We're friends, okay? Anyway.
We're really good friends, guys. Gosh.
So I guess, I played with Lego as a kid, but not really anything like many of the AFOLs that you all know do. But I kind of got back into Lego like around COVID. A lot of people did. And I was just sitting around at home one day and my wife was at work and she's like, I'm going to get myself a $60 Lego set. Why don't you pick out one too? I'm like, well, okay. Because, I'm like, I'd always go down the Lego aisle at like Walmart and everything I want is super expensive. I'm like, I'm just going to pass on it. But she's giving me the green light. So I'm going to go get something. So I got some crappy Technic rally car, but she got the Friends Central Perk set. So she built it, and then I tore it apart and made it into something different. Kind of just said, you know what, you're at work, I got nothing to do. I'm going to take your Central Perk set. And I made it myself like a little mini modular. And I ended up diving into YouTube and like seeing what else people have done. And this one guy, he hasn't really posted much lately, like probably a year and a half. But I forget his name, but he made like mini modulars out of sets. So he had some Lego 2 movie sets that he would make into like little mini modulars using just the pieces from the sets, and he had like his own little small city, and that kind of got me interested into doing big city stuff. So it evolved into me taking modular sets and my own custom skyscrapers and stuff, and I started a YouTube channel and kind of chronicled a little bit of my process and the progression of the city, and that just kind of evolved then into Instagram, where I met everyone. It's like YouTube, I wasn't really getting a lot of views and wasn't getting a lot of interaction, which was what I really wanted. And I came over to Instagram, and the community on Instagram is pretty awesome. So that's kind of where I started, where I am now, with just lots of friends, AFOL friends. So yeah.
Well, good. We are glad you are now our AFOL friend, unless you write us off and don't talk to us ever again. So, which is possible. So tell us how you know Gene. Gene is a friend of ours. The first time I met Gene actually was in person here in Atlanta at Atlanta Brick Convention. Super great, super nice, super amazing, and everything. Aww. And we've been communicating, hanging out, whatever, talking online and stuff like that. So was it same thing? You met her at and Gene has been on our channel. We had our the ladies took over and everything, and it was a great show. So is it online? You guys just Instagrammed at the same time or something, or how'd that work?
No, not really. I saw her content in passing.
It's a funny story, actually, and I was actually wondering if we would get into that. We met at Brick World, but then after that, it went to chatting, and I think Steve and I both just had like, I wouldn't say misconceptions about each other, but like as he was saying, he had seen my reels, and I had seen his too, but there was just like maybe a hesitation on both of our parts to like talk. And then I saw him with a group of mutuals at Chicago, and I remember he didn't say hi, and I was like, did I do something wrong, or like am I offensive? of course, I also cussed when I came on here within 5 seconds, right? So, like, I'm a certain type of personality. But then I told myself, I was like, if I see Steve later today, I want to introduce myself. Like, he's in the community and I want to, like, you know, make the connection. And so I did. And then we talked for hours that night. And then like I said, like after meeting at Brick World, we then like connected on Instagram and now we chat every day, every other day. Yeah.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But y'all don't live anywhere close to each other. So how did y'all do the reel?
The wonderful world of technology.
It was Steve's idea. So we've been talking about doing a collab reel because I have fun with those. I feel like not enough people ask me to do collab reels, and he was like, "Would you do one?" I was like, "Yeah," but I'm terrible at like follow up. Like some friends sometimes ask me, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll record my part." Actually, I probably took an extra week to give Steve the video.
I had the idea for a while, and just like I was waiting for someone to come along that would like want to do it. So I filmed my stuff at my Walmart in Wisconsin, and she filmed her stuff in Texas, and just I edited them together. That's all it is.
It was very much like, but I'm coming from this side of the aisle, so you have to come from this side of the aisle.
I'm very like Spielberg, very directory. I'm like, okay,
well,
I got the idea in my head.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Like the only other time I've ever like directed a reel like to that level was when I did one with Martin like the year before. And it was the same thing. And I was the one with the like script. And I was like, do this. No, redo it. Send it back to me and redo. So like, I get it.
And the funny thing about that reel is like, she filmed it in two different places in the aisle. So like the first clip is like her at the end of the aisle. And then the next clip, she's like all the way like right next to me. She's like way down the aisle. So it's kind of funny. It played into that whole awkward thing.
It's classic. It's classic.
It is classic. It is classic.
Yeah, it was a brilliant idea. Yeah.
It is.
I always wind up telling Steve through comments and this and that because similar scenario for Gene and Steve is that Steve and I met this year at Brick World, and then it was like just kind of like we start following each other, and then he starts making these hysterical reels, and so I just start commenting on him, and we're just chatting back and forth. And now, you know, whatever we're working on or whatever we're doing, there's some banter back and forth, and it's just an ongoing conversation. And one of his comments is that because he said something about he was asking me if I was going to Chicago, and I said I'm not going to be able to go to Chicago this year, and he's like, "Oh man, that's going to suck because then we can't hang out in person." I'm like, "Well, you know, you can come hang out with us in Old Gray Bricks."
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So you know, because that's kind of what this show started out with during COVID. Was because we couldn't hang out in person, and so that's when we started hanging out Monday, or you know, it started on Saturdays, and then we moved it to during the week on the Mondays and Thursdays, and you know, this has kind of become our melting pot of people coming in, and you can eat on screen. It's okay.
We have to do a close up though. I'm sorry.
Nice.
And yes, the antics will ensue, and that's how this happens. And really, this is about as close as we can get to being at a show and sitting around with people in the after hours and joking and having fun. So it's perfect. It's where it's at.
Yeah. And I just second Steve's reels are hilarious.
They are.
Like once I followed Steve, I was like, I'm gonna like stalk some of your reels because this is funny.
Well,
I think he has a lot of great ones, but I just love the one where he does the same dance for like the different music.
The production. I mean,
it's like so like yeah, that's how we are. We're awkward.
Well, and I it's amazing that he doesn't have 10 times more followers than he does. Because
literally.
And I don't mean to embarrass you or anything like that, Steve, but your reels are produced well.
They are.
Your comedic timing is spot on. You've got great content. The production quality is 10 times better than whatever I would be probably trying to produce. So yeah, you need more and more followers because they're all freaking hysterical.
And now you involve your kiddos, is that right? Or do you steal somebody else's children? I don't know how this works.
Once in a while, I do. They kind of bug me once in a while to be like, Dad, can I be in a reel? not today. Oh, I want to be in a reel. So once in a while, I get him in there. If I can have the right idea, and sometimes I'll get a good idea to incorporate my son, but he's kind of a diva. So like if he doesn't get it in like the first or second take, he's like done. So like if he gives up, then like my idea is kind of crap, and I gotta like throw it away.
Prima donna.
Try to do it different day.
My part is in the can, and then walks on off. Is that what he does?
No, he gets frustrated. He's only 6, so actually he's turning 7. But yeah, he just gets frustrated because he doesn't like to memorize stuff, and if there's like a dance or something, he doesn't get the dance right away. He's done. So,
but I also love the fact that you've never actually incorporated your wife physically into your videos.
No,
you play your wife.
Yeah, I play my wife. It's very smart to do it that way because then she can't get mad that I'm making fun of my wife. So it's my Instagram wife.
I remember being like, wait, so is your wife like blonde and does she wear glasses? He's like, no, I do it the opposite so she doesn't get mad.
Yeah, what's actually funny is she bought the wig. So she's all for it.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you what, I try to use my husband for real sometimes, and he's sometimes game, but sometimes he's really not game. And when he's not, and there was this one that I really wanted him to be game on, and it was where he would be like in his habitat because he's a gamer. So his room is just like lights and his transparent laptop or computer and whatever. And it was him turning and being like, why would I touch your Lego, basically? And he didn't want to do it. And I was like, fine, I'm just going to dress up like you. So I got like his Alienware shirt and his hat flipped upwards and his massive headphones that made my head look like tiny. And because he sometimes appears in my reels, I think people were expecting it that he would be there. But when it was just me dressed up as him, it was like that was the punchline.
Makes it better.
Yeah.
Makes it better.
Yeah. I don't think my wife would do if I did reels, but what she will do is she when I've been doing whatnot, kind of thinning out some parts. The thing she likes is Lego is leaving the house for money, and that's something she's into. But she loves to be the Lego banter back and forth, and the non-Lego spouse off camera, and people kind of find that funny. But the other day, just out of the blue, we were running a whatnot, and something messed up, and I had to I said, hey, y'all just hang on a second. And so my wife from the side goes, so what do you people out there think about Bricklink being down? And I just had to pause for a moment. Go, how do you A, know about that? B, why do you know about that? And what do you know about that? And it was a strange new world for me because she was in my Lego world and with knowledge. And so it was very odd.
Get out.
I remember when Bricklink was down, I think the day it went up or like the day after, like my husband came in here and like, do you use Bricklink? I heard that it went down. And I was like, Justin, that was so 5 days ago. It was funny.
Nice try.
He's like, but do you use that? I was like, yeah, I use that.
Real.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, it's cute.
That's funny.
All right. So
That's when
Steve, Go ahead,
that's
Matt.
when your non-Lego friends send you the link to the story that you knew about 5 days ago, and you're like, "Hey, and we're like, "Yeah, we know."
Yeah.
I've had people send me links to my own videos sometimes.
Really?
Have you seen this? You're like, I'm in the video.
Check out this guy's basement, and then they send me links of Brixie's stuff. I'm like, yep, I know him. Have you ever heard of him? Yeah, I know who he is.
He's got
so much stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is very common for someone to send me a video of somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, I know him. He and I hung out. Did you know this? Or did you know that? And they're like, oh, I should have known. I'm like, yes, you should have known.
Yeah.
I was about to tell that this right here. What about 10 years ago when was her name Amy something? I think made this huge church, a Lego church, and Pastor dude Chris. I mean, I got it like 10 times a day. Hey, Pastor Chris, have you seen this emails and Facebook and all the things? Like, yes, it's hard. You appreciate somebody going, hey, I know something that you like. I want to.
Yeah, I was thinking of you
about it.
Yeah,
but there again, it's like, yeah, I'm well aware. When the Lego gummies, do you remember the Lego gummies thing? Everybody like every day I would get 5. Hey, look, Lego gummies. I'm like, yes, that's great. Sure, great.
Target's
thanks.
got Lego blankets. Check it out.
Yeah.
Do you think in like 2 years from now we're all going to be like, I remember where I was when Bricklink went down?
Oh, I'll remember exactly what I was working on when Bricklink went down.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yes.
I mean, that was the pain of actually having to export a spreadsheet from Studio and go through my inventory looking for pieces by name. that will live in my mind forever.
Yeah.
There's
To
the
go back around to something from earlier. I have made a thing.
Inconceivable.
His name is Inigo Montoya. You killed his father. Prepare to die.
That is a great hairpiece.
That is excellent.
That works perfect.
I actually have a black leather mask that I made that Carrie Elways signed because no one would ever surrender to the dread pirate Dana.
You mean David?
He thought it was clever. I liked it. It was good. Good time. He's a very nice guy. Very nice guy.
So for us that are a little bit older in the hobby, when we didn't get a chance to discuss it because of all the stuff going on, 20 years ago plus a few days is when they changed the gray color. I know I was in it, and Mark was in it, and Jeff was in it. Was anybody else in Lego to really notice the big news when they changed? You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when they went to new light gray.
I remember being confused when I got back into Lego and that there was more than one color gray. That was apparent, but yeah, I missed the whole transition, but it was confusing for me anyway.
The one that I noticed more was the shift in dark gray from the old dark gray to the new dark gray.
I bought the Super Star Destroyer, which is one of the last big sets in the old dark gray and old light gray. And then when I finally put it together, I was like, oh, this looks dirty.
It's a valid point.
It does.
It's a valid
point.
Could
There's
you
some controversy
imagine?
because some of the Star Destroyers had some old light gray and some new light gray, and people lost their mind.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that would not be cool. I would want it to be consistent one way or the other.
I think it would add more character to it.
I was going to say, I actually think that some of the cooler builds I've seen and people who have integrated both of them together, it adds that extra layer of detail.
Yeah, when I got into Lego, I got some bulk lots off of Marketplace, and it was like old Harry Potter sets, and the gray was old. And like, I'm just gonna put that over here. But now it's like I bring all that stuff back into my collection. It's a lot cooler to mix all 4 grays together.
Well, that's kind of the same
just
line when I pull an old spaceship out and it's yellowed. And people are like, "Oh, it just looks great." I'm like, "No, it looks like crap. You're just being nice, but it looks like crap." Thank you very much.
No, it does. It looks weathered.
The interesting thing is the new light gray. Sorry, Chris. New light gray under fluorescent lights long enough turns into old gray until you flip it upside down, and then you get the colors inside. I had a Super Star Destroyer in my office at work for Death Star. The one with the shooting laser.
Death Star 2.
Yeah, Death Star 2. I couldn't remember which one it was. And it was in my office for like 5-10 years, just sitting up on top of my filing cabinet. And when I went to bring it home, I was like, oh, this is now a completely new color. Actually, it was like more old than new, but yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is if you take old gray and you do a UV wash with it, it will come out looking like new gray for a while, and then it darkens again. It's strange. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, before the Star Wars license and before anything, there were people that had been old enough in the hobby to have yellowed white bricks before Star Wars. And one guy actually built a Millennium Falcon. This is in like the Rec Toys Lego early Lugnet days. He built a Millennium Falcon, but he used all the different tones of white. So he had yellowed and everything. It looked fantastic because it gave it that really junky look and everything. He did it on purpose, but it still looked fantastic. And I remember that because he had tones of yellow that were close to and things. Mark, what were you saying?
That was Ben Fleskis.
Oh, Ben.
And he brought that to Brickfest PDX 04, and I got to see it in person. And he showed me the little features because he had done he'd used the pneumatic things to make the landing gears pop out. and he had a little Technic thing that you push, and the little laser gun would pop down under the cockpit to shoot stormtroopers, and it did a bunch of stuff. He had built in a bunch of features, and it was really
and that was pre all of those cool new pieces that you would think about using for that. He was doing that old school, which is 10 times harder.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. You whippersnappers in your fancy pieces nowadays. All right, Steve, what are you working on right now?
Ooh,
Friendships. I'm kind of in a Lego rut. So Dana knows all about this. So I'm kind of taking a break, trying to get back into building. What I am working on is right here. It's a very large Spider-Man multiverse mock. So there's going to be there's two 45-degree buildings, which I find out is not actually 45 degrees anymore. It's like 53 degrees. But
Lego math.
Lego math, exactly. They're going to be coming up from the sides, kind of like if you've seen the Miles Morales movies. They're kind of like portaled in. So there's going to be like three different Spider-Man fights on each building. And then there's going to be like a cityscape behind it. But that's kind of blew my mind for a while. So I've just kind of I haven't really been in my Lego room that much for the last month. So yeah, I'm just trying to decided to organize some stuff, try to get the spark back a little bit, actually touching Lego. Because I really haven't even been in my room for a month. It's kind of crazy. But I bought some Star Wars sets recently and decided to kind of curate my collection, downsize a little bit and save up for some sets that I really want to get. And that's kind of what I'm up to right now.
Can I talk about the fact that you got soundproof paneling on the side of your wall right there? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, this room before Lego, it used to be. I'm a musician, so I used to have record in this room a little bit. So that was actually has a purpose, but not so much anymore because Lego took the room over. So as it usually does.
As it does.
You still do music stuff with your Lego, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of gave up YouTube, but I might get back into it and try to figure out some new micro niche with it.
YouTube is so difficult.
It's more finicky. It's weird. It's a hard thing to break through. But yeah.
If you're like me and you work, you have a full-time job and you have a family and you have other things that you do, it's really hard to find the time to be consistent with it. And I was doing it for a little bit, and it was just the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze. I know it's a long game for a lot of people. I know some people get lucky, but for the most part, it's a long game. And I was doing it for about 2 years, and it's just wasn't getting the interaction that I wanted. I don't really necessarily want a lot of views. I just wanted interaction, and I really wasn't getting that at all either. So
I when we started doing this stream, I thought about trying to do a small thing on my own for YouTube, and I just wasn't getting the vibe. But yet I already had 2,000-3,000 followers on Instagram, and I was getting regular just interactions.
Right.
And that's what I was looking for, was the commentation and back and forth. And I just said, you know what? I've already got X number of people working this. So I switched, and that's why I do a stream on Friday afternoon on Instagram, because that's where all the people who I interact with are already there. So it was just cut the chase and drop the YouTube and just stick with Instagram.
Right. YouTube is kind of like a long joke, and Instagram is more like a dad joke. It's right away. So there's a lot less effort in it. So
yeah,
I have my dad joke card in my wallet. So Instagram is just, I think I'm a little bit better at Instagram, if that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
Instagram's just easier. You can just take 10 minutes and make a reel or whatever. And be done with it.
Yeah.
Like once you have Instagram down, it's just so hard to get out of that habit. Like short form content, and you know what people want, and like Dana said, when your audience is there that you interact with, that engages with you, it's just hard to leave. So
yeah, I mean, what I was doing on YouTube, it was like you have to build something, then you have to write the script, then you have to film what you're building, then you have to edit it all. It's like there is so much more work involved. Yeah, and the way
it sounds like another job.
It really is.
That's the thing. Like I actually have talked about doing a YouTube channel on counties, which is a thing I'm obsessed with. But I don't want a second job that doesn't add anything to the bottom line. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gene, you kind of, I mean, you're a land ambassador, and you're dang near full time online all the time anymore. It's another gig, isn't it? I mean,
I'm definitely so. Yeah, the story is essentially I was laid off earlier in the year in February from a job that I really loved. Like, maybe I didn't love the job, right? But you love the company you work for and the people,
right?
And so I was laid off, and then I was contracting through August. Was kind of laid off again, but it was contracting. But my contract was supposed to go to November, and then it ended in August. But that's a long story. And then, like my husband just noticed how unhappy like that job made me. And then even before that, like the job that I was at for 5 years, he was like, you know, you were good at it, but that's not really. He's like, I feel like you enjoy the social media thing, and you put in about a part-time job's worth of time into it. Maybe I wasn't. I still don't even make a part-time wage off of it. But he's like, I think that like. My husband believes in me. He's like, I really think you can do something with this. And, you know, so we kind of set a timeline for us that works for us, where he was like, look, we'll really be okay if you want to take like 6 months to a year to try to monetize this. Like if in 6 months to a year, I can just break even and pay my part of the bills, I'd call that a win. So yeah, I am really diving into it full time and trying. I could honestly probably do more, but I'm just ADHD brain and then getting overwhelmed. And there was a time there in the fall, like when there was just a lot of Lego coming in from LAN, and like, granted, I'm not obligated to post or build right away from LAN, but I was giving myself these deadlines, and I was like, oh no, like, and then having to turn in reports after you post content kind of thing. I don't know, but yeah, so I'm dipping my toes in everywhere, and especially YouTube, because would you choose now to start chewing? Can you hear her? Okay, I hope you can hear the dog. Yeah, like YouTube, I'm close to monetizing. I'm like less than 900 hours away for the first tier of monetization, but I'm trying to get to that second tier. So I'm a little over halfway, which is 4,000 hours. So when you can start monetizing from ads, it's 4,000 hours.
Wow.
And I'm just a little over 2,000 hours. And even then, when you start monetizing from ads, it'll be like chump change, right? Like $20 per 1,000 views or $15 per 1,000 views. But still, it's like the way that everybody's explained to me, it's like it's exponential growth as long as you're putting out frequent content. But I'm still kind of trying to find my voice on YouTube and like what I have to offer. I was just talking to Steve about it like days ago. And, you know, he was giving me some great tips. And I was like, Steve, I've thought about all these things, but I'm still just trying to YouTube in general, like recording and then editing takes so long. So for right now, I'm mostly treating the content I'm putting out on YouTube as practice. And my videos are improving in terms of video quality, audio quality, editing.
As long as you get 1% better every video.
Right. Yeah.
Man,
my Avengers Tower video, I was like, man, that sounds good. Like, because I've had this microphone for streaming forever, but I've never used it for actual YouTube recording for YouTube videos. And I did. And I was like, okay, I can't ever not use the mic again. Like that just raised it up a few levels. And they even got comments that were like, you sound like you should be in radio. Yeah. Or like my husband was listening to the video in the other room, and I thought he was listening to a show, and I was like, oh my god, is that me? Because I recognized like what they were talking. I was like, she's talking about the Avengers Tower. Like, wait, that's what I said about the Avengers Tower. I'm dumb. I know, it takes me a second. But
as long as you're like improving one thing every video, just making something better a little bit, by the time you get to 100 videos, you'll be 100% better. So
I have like a tiny advantage that I told Steve that's kind of just what right now I play to, is that in LAN, if you did go see, if you searched Lego Avengers Tower, I was the only female in LAN who had that set early, who had a review up. So I had kind of was avoiding putting my picture on the thumbnail because I was like, well, what if men don't click it because they're like, why do I care what she has to say about the Avengers Tower?
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. You should always, because and this is going to sound sexist, and I'm not saying sex sells, and I'm not saying you have to flash any cleavage or anything like that.
It does,
but dudes will listen to a girl talk about Lego before they will listen to a dude talking about Lego. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, I don't think that's sexist at all. I think that's the audience, right? And so that's what I was like really heavily debating. I was like, I want this to get views, and it is right now. It's my number one video. Well, number two technically, because my Star Wars room tour was a very high demand, and I knew that would always kind of stay at the top. But it's my number one video in terms of like how long it's been up and whatever.
Yeah.
But that's always my debate. I was like, okay, what's gonna get people to most likely to click? Seeing a woman on the thumbnail or just seeing the Lego set? Because
like, go both.
Well, yeah, there is always the Lego set's always there. It's just like if I'm in it, are people just gonna be like, dismiss her, or are they gonna click because they're like, ooh, why is this chick in this Lego thumbnail? So I don't know. These are the debates I have. Like, why do I care about thumbnails? YouTube is so complicated. Oh my god, a kitty.
You just got to do it. Put you both on there. Put the Lego and you. Who is it? For Bricks and Giggles, she does a YouTube show, and she's got a brick store. She always does her pictures of her in the set, and then the swipe is just the set or more details on the set. Yeah. And she gets the clicks, the views. Take that model, go with that.
Yeah.
Well, and when I grew up, and even I went to college, I went to Georgia Tech to go to college, and the ratio of guys to girls was like 8-1 or whatever, something crazy like that. But to know that there are females who like the hobby like you do, you're like, oh, really? I didn't know they existed, that kind of thing. So it's something that's interesting, and I appreciate it. You did, Gene, and I think I sent you a message about it. You did a review of the small plants with the small plants. It was an amazing. It was a very educational. You took all three plants. You talked about it, which one you liked, and everything. It was well produced and well done. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I was like, well, what can I like? One of the things Steve gave me tips about a few days ago was like, yeah, try to make it different than just a review. And I was like, I know, Steve, I'm trying. But I was like, well, with the plants, I was like, what if I compare it to like the real plants? So that's what I did with that one. And I think it turned out really cute too. So I was really happy with your feedback. Thank you, Chris.
It was great. It was like, oh, nobody's really done this. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to swing back to Steve on, and because Steve and I have been talking about this a little bit, and as he mentioned that he's curating his collection a little bit, and he's kind of hit a rut, and because he came to me, and he kind of, because I asked him about how were things going with the tower scene and everything like that, and he said, well, they're hitting a rut and commiserating and talking about it, and my first thought in my head was, I very rarely ever get in a rut because I have you jackasses on. For the next thing I'm going to build or some new idea. I mean, hell, I have like 4 ideas.
How is that not a bad word? Sorry.
I'm allowed to innuendo from time to time.
Accurate. That helped.
It was very, very accurate.
It's not so much we're allowed as we're numb to it.
Yes, it's true.
He calls us that all the time.
But no, I mean, I typically wind up getting more ideas from talking with my fellow AFOLs to the point where I don't have enough time to do the ideas that I want to do because of the interaction with y'all. And I don't use the word y'all very often, but that's where a lot of my stuff comes from, is that I get this, it'd be kind of cool if I did this, and then I get this, well, now you have to do it.
Part of that is, Dana, we like to push you. The other part is, it's like, that bonehead will do it if I tell him to.
It's true. No matter how it turns out.
Case in point, long before Lego made the Voltron set, Mark Sandlin was going to build the Voltron set. He was going to build it to the scale that we had back in the day called Technomecha, and it made it was about a 2 foot tall robot. He was just going to skin it with the lions and maybe even make them so they'll pop off. What was
3
that?
feet.
3 what? 3 feet tall. Okay. So then he was like talking about it. I'm like, what do you mean you're not going to make it so the lines pop off? He goes, oh, I could probably do that. I'm like, wait a minute, you're not going to make the lions minifig scale? Crap. So he did. And it's huge. What is it? 5 feet tall? Some crazy stuff like that. Yeah. All right. So it's huge, and it was before Lego made theirs, and it's an amazing thing. So, but part of that is iron sharpens iron. It's good to be around other people who will challenge you, even if they're doing it to be annoying. It still can push you to do more than you thought you could do. So that's a good thing to do.
So stop talking to me, Steve. I'm super lame.
Yeah.
Hey now, but you decided to do something this year, which was I know it was a step outside your comfort zone, and it was very well received by you doing your Sabine helmets, and you went full bore to the point where you were scrounging sets for pieces the days before a show,
DMing
out to people saying, hey, have you got this part? I mean, you were full on in the zone, full on AFOL. So, props to you on that.
Yeah, that's a second level, by the way. If you're like, you're building something, you don't have a part, and you go pick it off, something off your shelf, you're like, yep, I'll take that off the space station. I need it. That's level 2. That's another level of being an AFOL. So
no, but then that would mean level 3. Level 3 is when you go buy a set specifically to open that set to take out a piece to use in a build.
When you'll buy a $60
for the Sabine helmet for Chicago, I did that. I bought that Wizards Weasley Wheezes, the single set, just for these 2 curved tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dana was like, I actually have these. And I was like, thank you. I couldn't get my $100 back. Yeah, I was desperate.
Yeah.
I even drove like the night before Chicago to Brady Joyner Brick's house to get like 2 little dots tiles for the Sabine helmet. It's like, yeah. I was like, well, do you have anything else I can take just so it's not like not a waste of a trip, right? But
this is another thing that I know that and I've talked to Martin about this, and Martin is kind of like our redheaded stepchild because he lives in Alabama. He's 3 hours away from us, and he has said genuinely, I wish I lived closer to you guys, because he sees us. I mean, early in the pre-show, I was pointing out that I've ran out of quarter round teal tiles. Matthew's like, yeah, I probably got 500-600. You can stop by and pick some up. And I've gone to Chris's house.
I have 300. I have 300. I don't know
you guys. He's like, I wish I had people near me. He really is not happy at his middle of nowhere Alabama.
Exactly. But and you hook up with Emma
all the time.
Yeah. And Nicole comes down and visits you. And it for me,
I have Rob now, Rob the Builder.
Rob the Builder's there, which is great. And that's where I think a lot, we have a great lug in general in this area, which is cool, but it's this connection that I have with my local AFOLs that if I need something, I can go pick it up. If they need something, they can stop by and hey, I found this on clearance, or, oh, hey, grab those for me and I'll swap them out with you, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it really keeps the Lego AFOL juices flowing. And that came out not the way I wanted it to, but it really keeps you engaged in the hobby, because there's like-minded individuals who not only are giving you ideas, but are also encouraging you to build, and who will help you if you need parts or to get something or whatever it's going to be. And that just, I'm fortunate, and I know that not everybody has that opportunity in their areas, but if you can get that, that's where it's at.
Yeah, but Dana, can I ask you a question? When you sent us a picture of the 57 advent calendars you picked up, Mark, Matt, correct me. Did he say, "Hey, do you guys want one"? Because I don't remember hearing that.
I'm assuming that's going to be our Christmas gift, so I haven't leaned in there too hard.
Better hurry up. The advent calendars are going to start soon.
Well, anybody who gives anybody an advent calendar for Christmas realizes it's for the parts and the pieces. It's not to open it throughout the advent. But this is a great segue that I'll take.
Star Wars
for the experience.
Would be very happy for the sweater.
But this is a great segue because we do need to do an Old Gray Bricks Christmas breakfast.
Here we do.
So we need to set that date. If any of you are in the area and want to join us, we'll give you the secret handshake of where that might be. So
we could have fans come and have breakfast.
Well, they're not necessarily fans. They're a part of the Old Great Bricks unrecognized Lego user group.
I'll bet they'd both show up.
Yeah,
it's entirely possible both of them would show up. It's entirely
16 hours though, guys. Come on, one way. Jeez,
Steve, you make the drive.
I put pressure on Stever this weekend. I said, "Look, we have a whole lug over here. It's just come on over."
We have. That's just it. And this is weird because we do have members in our lug from Florida, Alabama, and South Carolina, and they all drive in for whatever we're doing. So it works, but you got to find the right lug, and I think that's why we wind up having people from other states, is because not every lug is for everyone. So,
Hey guys, I'm looking at the time, and we are way over time. But this has been great conversation. We'll hang around and talk after. Hang on, I love the flaming frog.
The frog has launched. The frog has launched.
That's the best thing
I was
ever.
wondering what you were showing earlier. I was like, is that a dragon? But it was too small.
No.
It's a micro Serenity.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you realize that the frog does look like a firefly. It looks like a micro Serenity.
Yeah, firefly.
I'm pretty sure I have a gray one.
That's an excellent YouTube concept.
That's awesome.
Exploding.
All right, everybody.
Steve,
thank you for joining us. I hope you'll come back. You can be a regular Old Gray Brick and everything anytime. Gene, you are also always welcome to come on anytime you're available.
Thank you.
The rest of these hosers, it is what it is. But anyway, thank you
Floppy
all for
Rover
being
and all.
here. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said Floppy Rover and all.
Sloppy Rover and all. That's right.
I keep on hearing sloppy. I'm just
Thank
saying.
you for having me.
You're welcome. Hey guys, be awesome and build awesome. Be kind to your neighbor. Good night, everybody.